Security! Guys, I don't know who is this guy. Get him out of here. Who is this guy?
Oh, wow, we're back in the driver's seat.
Who are you?
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the PHX.
Who?
Rising Pod. Is there a couple of owls that I'm with?
Who?
Who
are you?
Me?
Yeah. What's your name? What's your name?
This guy?
What's your name?
I'm Max.
Nice to meet you. I'm Rees.
Hey, what's going on,
Nice to
Rees?
meet you.
Owain?
Yeah.
Yeah. They call you Stat Lucky?
Yeah,
Hot dog helper?
Yeah,
Hot dog
Max
heaver.
is buying
Hot dog
beers.
heaver.
Max is getting a tattoo.
Oh my goodness, we got that. Welcome
Max
in.
buying
Max
beers.
supports Spurs. I mean, let's just
He's
run
a
through it
Spurs
all.
fan. I mean, you know.
Welcome in to the BHNX Rising Podcast, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Go to America's Thirst Stop, Arizona's Thirst Stop. PHNX is Thirst Stop. Get everything there. Join the inner circle.
Max is one thirsty boy.
Yes.
For Circle
yes.
K.
For Circle K, yes.
Don't like-
Absolutely. Goodness. We got a lot to talk about. First off,
We do.
hello, everyone in the chat. Leave a like on
Leave
your
a like.
way
Max is back.
in here.
Leave a like.
We-
You know you gotta leave a like.
Leave a like.
You've gotta leave a like. You gotta leave
What
a
is that?
That's you.
What is
This is not
That's
you.
you.
How? Oh my gosh! Football is life. That's all I gotta say there. That's absolutely, that's diabolical work, but that's really good.
That's you, Max,
Wow,
right?
if I'm not dedicated to the game, I don't know what is. The beautiful game. Wow, I'm
Does that imply you got like kicked in the head a lot?
no,
and
man,
that's why
That would explain a lot right now.
that was a Halloween costume from dear God.
Halloween.
I dressed up as a soccer ball.
Halloween.
How creative were you?
That's scary, Max. That's a
Halloween
scary.
from
you
like
should, you should
2000. I don't even know. I'm not gonna say a year because then Reese is gonna say I wasn't even born then.
You
or
should have dressed up
something.
as Big Sam Football
I
because that
would-
is a pretty
No,
scary
it's probably
sight
like
to watch.
4 or 5 when that happened.
Dude, I was like, oh gosh, was I like freaking 10 or something? I don't know. That was
2010?
I don't know. Anyway.
Was Reese even born then?
I was in preschool then, Max.
Oh, stop it. Stop talking. All right, everyone. Appreciate it. Everyone in the chat. And then James, Amanda, Lee, Kev from the other room, Devin, all, everyone. Appreciate you guys joining us and welcoming back with these two guys. We got a lot to talk about.
There is the football.
We're working some Phoenix Rising stuff, I suppose.
A lot of Phoenix Rising stuff. It's kind
No
of
darts.
They do.
No darts today.
They do
I
love
know.
Phoenix Rising. Well,
You
gentlemen-
enjoyed the UK Open?
Oh,
Loved it. Luke
There we
Littler,
go.
what a
Good
performance.
time.
boy.
James Wade. Johnny
I
Clayton,
know,
consistent.
yeah.
I mean, he's playing well right now.
Yeah, Amanda in the chat. See what happens when you leave them unsupervised. Yeah, I mean,
You
you know,
talk darts.
I'm they do a lot.
We
They do
love
a
the darts.
They do a lot when I'm not around. I'm trying to land the plane, steer the ship. Really, it's Kyle's job actually. So and then I
Land the
actually
plane.
blame him.
Land the plane.
I land the plane. I blame
Lots of
Kyle.
airlines, Reese.
No.
We're scaring him with 3 ads
No.
right now. It's
Anyway,
okay.
we're gonna move right past this, guys. Catch me up. Right. I know that there's been a lot of rising news going on, especially in the past week. A lot of different things to cover. We are going to talk a little bit later about Rising's season opener, that home opener against FC Tulsa, and a little bit more of an outlook for really just about everything. So catch us up. What do we had in the last week, Rising wise?
Lots of things.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. How do we feel about the last week, Reese? Give me a summary.
Well, we kind of got to watch the most pointless 90 minutes plus penalty shootout in the history of the sport, probably. What else? Pop was named captain. The new Adidas kits got released.
Adidas kits, you
Yeah,
say? Okay.
I don't like them, so this isn't an ad, but they're just perfectly made.
Sure.
But I mean, that friendly.
They got a
if
new
you wanna
shirt
call it that.
sponsor as well on
They
the
do.
sleeve.
Yeah, they
no
do.
longer
No
any
more- yeah.
It's Abrazo Health now.
Yeah. But the friendly, or friendly scrimmage, whatever you want to call it, didn't really give us much because it was the young versus old, and the squads weren't divided like first team versus second team, so it was just a mix of guys, and it ended 3-3 and went to penalties.
How do you find the food, Rees? Because we discussed the food, right? Mid,
just perfectly 6.0 FOTMOB rating.
Mid.
Or score, your pick of apps, but just mid.
All right, thoughts on the kits though. Let's start with the home kit. What do we think about the home kit? The red, the white. How does it come together?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very simple home kit. It's nothing fancy. I mean, overall, I'm not really a fan. I think they've had better when you go with the all red, even with the a little white trim. Like I think they've had a little bit more creative designs in the past. I'm not really super impressed. I don't know, it's clean, but that's about all I can say. It's like a 4 for me. It's nothing. 4 out of 10.
Four's a little harsh.
I wouldn't give. I don't know if I'd give it a 4 though. I think it's not like. You've got to bear in mind, there's not a whole lot between like a 4 and a what. There's not many kits that tend to fall in that kind of range if you're saying it's better than that, because it's just so plain that it could be anything, right? I mean, it looks like a youth kit to me, the way that the white's printed on there. It's like this whole like single color kind of printing of everything on the front. It looks like a white, it looks like a youth kit in a lot of ways to me. That it looks cheap. I mean, it's $110. I ain't buying that for $110. I think I understand the constraints this club has when you're dealing with Adidas, right? They are a major manufacturer. But I mean, it also shows that maybe when they went into this 6-year deal, like in 2021, so they got another season with them, by the way, after this.
Yay.
That they've kind of been left behind, I think, by the landscape around the league that has moved on to the more bespoke manufacturing.
That's a good way to put it.
Manufacturers, so your Charlies, your Hummels, Macron, who Rising were with at one point, and we're getting more bespoke kits.
Oh, yeah.
And by sticking with Adidas, you're always going to get more cookie cutter designs.
Very templatized.
They're templates. A lot of the times, they're kits that, quite frankly, you could get off the web as a Sunday league kit. Now, that's I don't know if that's real. That doesn't feel very legitimate to me. But
nice.
No offense, but
that's a beautiful kit.
I know you spent your hard-earned money.
That's a beautiful kit. Yeah. Okay, so that's how you're feeling.
I mean, it's definitely
it might be worn with white shorts.
Manufacturer doesn't appear to actually.
I mean, that's totally fine.
Did you see Ryan Flood's Instagram post? Showed the red shirt with white shorts.
Oh,
it's the only place I've seen it, but I don't like it either.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so the home one kind of is what it is, templatized, anything like that. Well, what about the away?
It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, again, what I like about it is I like the way that the sponsor logo has allowed them to finally actually do it horizontally, right? The Carvana logo on the front. It always looks huge otherwise. The way that they've allowed it to be horizontal definitely helps for me. It allows for more creativity. If you'd have had that with the Desert Rose kit last year, it would have looked so much better.
Oh, yeah.
But they didn't. And now they've been allowed to do it, and I like that. But at the same time, it's just kind of plain. I mean, for me, what I think it really, really underscores is how much I dislike the current trend of naming kits when there's no real need to name them. What's retro about that kit?
Two stripes.
Is explicitly retro about it? Like, I don't see anything.
The gradient within the video or the pictures.
But that's all just nonsense. It's marketing nonsense, okay? And I don't like it. If when kits have a reason for why they name that, Desert Rose, I saw a story behind that, okay? I didn't necessarily. You can like the kit or not like the kit, but the way they chose the colors, I see where they come out with that name. But then when you see retro, and it's just like, what's retro about? It would have been retro if it looked more like one of the old Arizona United kits, but the club won't recognize that part of the future.
City on this.
But why are we calling it? Just call it a home and away kit. If you're not going to really give a theme to it, just call it a home and away kit at that point. Because there's nothing retro about the supposed retro kit.
Sally in the chat, thank you for saying that. The video effects and marketing. I mean, I don't know if I'd necessarily call it a retro kit myself. I actually do like it. I mean, out of the two, out of the two.
But again, is it $110?
No. Again, and this is where we were talking before we came on here. Just because we like a kit doesn't necessarily mean I'm not justifying the money to pay for it, in my opinion. I mean, right? We've seen other ones in the past. I would pony up for some of those, right? I mean, you ponied up for one of the kits last year.
Yeah, the red one.
The red one, right? Like there were some other ones where I think they went cleaner, maybe more justifiable. I mean, I would say. Right, your red, those ones, the home one, it's always going to be probably a bit less flash, a bit more, I guess, more or less industry standard.
Plain. It can be more plain.
I mean, the away one, Listen,
You gotta
I'm a
have
fan.
fun with an away.
I'm a fan. I like it a little bit more than the other ones. They went with the red and the black overall this year. How do we feel about that?
I don't like the white shorts on the black
Okay,
shirt.
that's a fair
not-
Yeah,
point.
that
That's a fair
also,
point.
again, I said youth club on the home kit. I'm going to say youth club on the away kit when you pair it with the white shorts. It's got that vibe of you handed everybody out white shorts and it's mix and match with the tops. In fact, I'm pretty certain that I've seen Phoenix Rising Youth Club playing with a black shirt and white shorts in the past. So I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, you go red shorts. Like I've been begging for that for years. Black shirt and red shorts. I've been begging for that for years.
You know what?
And it's
You know
just
what
never
I
been...
think? Why aren't we using yellow with the black?
Yeah.
The yellow from the badge, right? We saw them use it on the home shirt the one year with red a bit more, right? But black and yellow as a scheme, that yellow trim could be fine. I know it's a little bit New Mexico, but no. Like it's a much better, a little bit. You can have some fun with it. Speaking of which, New Mexico releasing the same kit for the 4th year in a row.
And they made it worse this year, didn't
They
they?
did make it worse. The sponsor logo is weirder on it.
Yeah.
Meow Wolf.
Meow Wolf. Yes.
Was that a free ad, Max?
I mean,
because you said it as well.
Well, first off,
Prospecting.
when I do a prospecting, also you've littered in plenty.
We'll have more as the show goes on. Don't you worry.
I'm kind of worried. Okay, so that catches up on uniforms, all of that jazz, little scrimmage action.
I mean, it was what it was.
Yeah.
90 minutes.
There's not a whole lot that you can get out of it. The biggest thing is that the team didn't appear to pick up any knocks during it. I mean, look, my personal opinion on this, and I'll get into more depth on this maybe a little bit later on. Although maybe no, let's do it now. Let's do it now, right?
Okay.
Is that it kind of comes at the end of preseason in such a way that it's felt like preseason this year has been a bit weird. I don't feel a lot of hype around this team right now, and I actually don't think that's entirely justified, the lack of hype, right? They struggled last year, yes. But I do think that this team is a team that's going to, whether it's successful or not this year, play a more entertaining brand of football than we saw last year. And yet the hype around the team doesn't seem to all be there. I don't think it helps that you had a preseason friendly that was for season ticket holders only, and the only other game that was available was an intra-squad friendly they were charging $20 a pop for. As Goodall Man Pat rightly pops out in there. Okay, that's not going to get many fans out who aren't season ticket holders already and get them hyped. There was actually an event earlier this week, just at a bar that we're going to leave nameless here, right? Because I know Max will get really disappointed if we point out the club did something at Pedal House. But they had 2 players out there, right? And 2 fans showed up.
Oh, it was 2? I thought it was
There
just
was
one.
a second that showed up, yeah.
Well, that's better than what I thought it was.
There was a second that showed
So
up and was sitting
double.
off to the side a bit. But
The tennis double.
But this is on the Monday, looking ahead to the week that's coming up, the start of the season.
Yeah.
It's actually the time when you have the most control over how much hype you have around your team. After that point, it kind of gets out of your hands a bit more. It flows and ebbs with the football and whether you're playing well or not. But this is the one time a year you can bank on, that the build up to the first game so you can really get it. And I just haven't seen that there. And I don't personally feel as though this team on the field has failed to provide something that you can be excited about. I just feel as though the club around it hasn't done enough. I mean, let's take Bobby Dooley's own words. It's not a concern when fans care and care passionately. It's a concern when they stop caring. Well, when you've got 2 guys showing up the week before the season starts to an event with players, and they actually announced it earlier than that, Goalie Man Pat, but they just didn't announce it that well by the looks.
Yeah, they tweeted it twice.
They did tweet it prior to that, the week prior as well. But when that's the kind of hype you're getting around it, I mean, are you doing enough?
Yeah.
Do people care? Or is it the fact they just don't know how to make people care in these moments? And that's a concern for me, right? Because you've got the pieces on the field to be interesting for now. I'm interested in how they're going to look the start of this season. The fans should be as well. But, I mean, are they just not paying enough attention to that?
Yeah, I mean...
At the top of the club or what?
It's, it's interesting, right? I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you. I think very much when you're having an event, the week of your first match, week before, you definitely want to make sure that you have a bit more of an attendance, to say the least, a bit more hype around it. I mean, I also think that, right, people decide with their feet, as they say, right? It's one thing, saying, okay, event, announce, seeing, they're going to tweet it out, all that stuff. It's going to be another thing where the real litmus test, and we're going to see it on Saturdays, how many people are actually showing up and how many people are actually going to be in attendance, right? It's going to be one thing. You could say there's 2 people there. There could be 200 there. Really what's going to matter is what is the home opener looking like? what is it going to be at, at the whistle, at the
I'm
whistle
looking
at 90 minutes.
I'm looking at the
That's what's
ticket
gonna
sales
matter.
right now, and they look reflective of how they were at times last season.
Yeah,
That's
not pretty.
Ooh,
It's
that's
not
a lot
looking
of-
pretty,
that's a lot
right?
of
There's a
growth.
lot of seats remaining, and maybe they make a good dent on that in the last few days. They do sometimes do that. The trends do move in that direction. But again, this is your time where you have all the runway in the world to get you up to game one.
Yeah.
And if you're not, doing enough to shift those tickets, then I have a real question again. It comes down at times to questions about, I think, priorities of certain people at the club.
Yeah. Listen, man, it's hard not to argue that. I honestly, it is something we'll have to wait and see. I mean,
One thing I want to say, actually, can we just address something in the chat about Cullyman Pat's talking about the goalkeeping on the base, and we're not going to use the exact wording he's saying.
Yeah.
James Wilson says banger by Traore. Yeah, it was a banger, but
I thought it got deflected based off how Tristan Henry dove at that ball.
he dove away from the ball.
I know. I'm just.
if someone's diving,
shock.
I saw in real time, it looks bad. I mean, someone diving that way, that just doesn't make sense to dive.
Did you see it? Have you seen it, Max? It's
it's bad.
bad.
It's not good. It's not good. No, I mean, going back to the hype and the lack thereof. I mean, for the season, I mean, you guys even seen we've been covering it throughout the.
It doesn't feel like the season starts
but
on Saturday.
but that's what I'm saying. It's yes, there's a way in which there's maybe a lack of, I guess, urgency maybe is a word you can use, but I think it's also, again, it's a very different mold from how this team has come together than in previous seasons, right? You have there's so many different things that are going in this time around, right? You look 2 years ago into that offseason, right? A lot of marquee players being signed. There was a lot of big name additions. You felt, okay, there's momentum here. Last year, given that everything happened so last minute, there was definitely urgency within that own right. This is kind of a weird mix of, right, Pa-Modou Kah announced in November, has had the lead up into it, signing a lot of guys who are younger, a little bit unknown commodities. It's just a different time for this time of year that you're not getting the big names of 2 years ago, the chaos kind of last minute from last year. And this is kind of where you're left out if people are showing up. And, well, I guess we're going to see what that looks like on Saturday.
Mm.
I mean, what is the promotional, last season was the Campione store, which is free, an easy one to do. But what is this one?
I don't know. Food? The food after you've seen
everything there about more tickets sold for the second home game in the Opera, I can't explicitly put this down, but I do think that they're not releasing all of the tickets off the top. As well as one thing.
Sure.
So I feel like that's been a trend I've kind of seen with these. I may be wrong, but there are large blocks of tickets that just seem to be missing
I
for
think
certain
also
games.
we've seen even in recent seasons that as we get closer and even day of, a lot of those things tickets tend to either sell.
Although
I'll
say that the rain that may be coming in the next couple of days may also really slow that.
Oh, it's going to
late.
rain?
It could.
I prefer that.
I mean, it might make the weather nicer, but I will also say that it would potentially put people off sitting outdoors. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We'll be there.
There you go. Oh, spring rain for a lot of schools. There you go.
That's true as well. It is.
Very cool. What else from this past week?
That's about it, I think.
Okay. Well, on the other side, we are going to, we've already done our looking ahead from this past week. We're going to look ahead to season opener this weekend on the other side of the break. I mean, as we're talking about Phoenix Rising, right? Got to talk about Circle K, of course, right? Teaming up.
Fuel up that car for El Paso away.
Yeah, I mean, but of course, right? Circle K, they're fueling us up not only for the time ahead, for the season opener. It's just a beautiful time for everything going on. Circle K, you can stop in for absolutely everything you need. Coffee, snacks, Polar Pops, Inner Circle membership. Save that money. Save up to 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. You can save 3 cents off per gallon. After that, 5 cents off per gallon. Get to the max level. After that, it's that darn easy. It's that darn
Stop
good.
naming it after
What's the level
yourself.
called, Max? Actually,
The max level.
Isn't it
It's
premium
What is
member?
Circle K called?
They can.
I think it's
They
premium
can say
member.
things, but check out Circle K. They have everything you need. Fuel up. There are Circle K's right by Phoenix Rising Stadium. Check them out. It's just a fantastic time. Just to enjoy Circle K. There's never a bad time. Make it part of your commute. Make it part of your game day experience.
Max is buying Polar Pops.
We'll see.
Oh.
All right. Well, that's what I got. What you got?
All right. Well, we're talking about Waymo now, aren't
Oh,
we?
yeah?
And see, Max hasn't been here for these Waymo ads.
yeah.
We're talking about Waymo.
He's missed out.
Yeah, we take Waymos quite a bit, don't we, Rees?
We do.
Right? We love the nice new modern cars, comfortable ride. But the most important thing here is we need to really get down because one thing that we've discussed is what Rees likes to sing in the Waymos when, obviously there's nobody else in there. So he can put his music on and just sing at the top of his voice and no one's there to judge. But we kind of have speculated about what you would sing in the car, but what do you sing, Max?
I'm not really a car karaoke singer.
You are. What's your
Max,
song? Don't lie
on.
to us. Look, there's no embarrassment here, and that's the thing.
I
That's the
thought
beauty
you
of a
would just
Waymo.
sing
There's no one.
Sweet
There's no one there to
over
hear
and over
you
and
That's
sing.
crazy.
Like,
There's no one there to hear you sing. So sing your heart out.
Little Chumbawamba.
He'd do Chumbawamba in the
I'll do
car.
some Chumbawamba, sure.
that's
right.
not what I expected.
As long as he doesn't chunder in the car as well. But make sure to join in Max's singing of Chumbawamba. Download the Waymo One app to ride today.
Alrighty. Got to
Max,
love it.
did that live up to the expectations you
Honestly,
had?
I didn't know where we were going.
You didn't even know where we were going.
By the way,
is
make
it time
sure
for the
on
toss?
your way in, hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe, of course, PHNX if you have not already.
Hit that like button.
Here's the thing.
Hit that like button.
Hit
Leave
the
a
like
like.
button. That picture haunts me. But my gosh, that is a dashing young man from long ago.
Maybe we need another one later on. I don't know.
Make sure to hit this. So, by the way, and I mentioned it, subscribe to PHNX. So many people, right? You watch the video, you think you're subscribed, just go over, double check, and make sure you are subscribed. All right, Kyle, let's throw that snack in. What we got? What we got?
Max. The snacks right.
Here we
go, Max.
Today we have a perfectly peachy ring.
Please
Maybe.
don't joke.
Yeah, I won't.
Well, I'm just making sure.
All right, here we go. Ready?
I don't want you to choke.
Commentate.
Kyle tosses Max off the right side of his mouth. Absolutely heartbreaking, Max. Come on. Did you make that shot at least? I wasn't watching.
Yeah, I did.
That's impressive. Second one?
One more.
He went to Africa and
Max's
just
big
forgot
mouth
everything.
is not big enough.
Yeah.
It is.
Heartbreaking.
Last one. Here we go.
Third one. Third time's the charm. Wow. Max Simpson.
One of these days, Max
Amazing.
will actually choke on the
And
pod.
we won't know
I
how
feel.
to save him, and Kyle will forget to stop the live stream, so all of you will just watch.
Max is here like, if I have to die, I'll die choking on Circle K products on a live stream.
Kyle, what is
doing
on that?
what I love.
What did I just see on screen? How many leave a likes do you have, man?
No
We want people to
comment.
leave a like. Max.
Unlimited.
Unlimited.
Max, let's just say there's a lot of posts on your Instagram.
Don't give it away where we're getting these from.
Oh, well, he probably has his...
Max is about to block us.
He probably has a
I'm about to block-
Facebook, and he
What?
definitely has some old pictures
gosh,
on LinkedIn.
I'm about to scrub my Instagram.
Oh,
Anyway,
see, we're doing you a favor, Max. We're reminding you to scrub your
all right,
Instagram every
speaking
so
of
often.
moving on, let's talk about Rising's season opener against FC Tulsa. Listen, guys, I know you got some stats and some ideas about Tulsa. I know you got kind of an overview. Give me overall, how are we feeling about this game? Can I get a vibe?
They should win.
They should. I think that, and I've said this before, these first 5 games are critical, right? You got 4 of the 5 teams in the West, or 4 teams in those first 5 games missed the playoffs last year.
Now, as we know, the
I
caveat,
know there's a lot of away games, and
There's
these teams
always
can change.
turnover. That thing is not
Right,
always
but some of these
indicative.
teams still aren't very good.
Outside
Okay, I don't think
of El
Tulsa are
Paso,
great.
I think it's
I don't think El Paso are great. I don't think Monterey Bay are great.
No, outside of El Paso and Monterey Bay, who are perennially always going to miss the playoffs for
No,
all
El
eternity.
Paso used to be good.
Yeah, at one point, yeah, Mark Lowry.
Mark Lowry
Come
was
on,
good.
Come on. Yeah, ages ago.
Stop talking, Reno. But like,
I mean, it was when Reno was alive.
That was when Reno was
ages
alive.
ago, that's what I'm saying.
But I
Rest
do
in
think as
peace.
well, you look at this, the only one that I think maybe you got a case is going to be a playoff team this year that wasn't last year is probably San Antonio.
Sure.
But and that game obviously is a big Sunday afternoon game on CBS. That one will be on CBS, so a big national game as long as they don't pull it off them like they did last year.
I forgot about that, yeah.
He did forget about that, but
I was out of town.
I look at these first 5 games and think critical, right? For a few reasons. I think they're weaker teams. You're not playing any big perennial favorites, at least not based on their recent seasons. You are also going to have the advantage of the fact that no one quite knows what this team is under Pa-Modou Kah yet. And you've got to take advantage because after a couple of games, everyone knows who you are. Everyone knows how you play. And then it becomes about tweaks and the margins. This first couple of games, this is going to be how you go out there and surprise people with things they aren't quite expecting from you. And you find ways to catch them. Equally, obviously, you don't always know what they're going to do. But, yeah.
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 Okay. All right, what you got, Rees? Any stats? Anything we can look forward to for this matchup?
I mean, well, last year it was that. Just going back to last season, it was 2 different matchups. The
that
first
was
one,
chaos. That first one, yeah.
Rising scored 2 penalties, 3-3 draw in Tulsa.
The Remington Brawl game.
It was.
Some say.
Yeah.
Some say.
And then the reverse fixture was Tomas Angel scoring one of 2 goals in a Phoenix Rising.
Was it a penalty?
It was a penalty.
It was a penalty. Phoenix Rising scored 4 goals against FC Tulsa in 2 games last year.
3
of them were penalties.
That's not very
all
convincing
scored by
at all.
different players as well.
Yeah.
Phoenix Rising.
One from Remy,
merchant.
one from Darius, and one from Tomas Angel.
Yeah.
The 3 guys that are realistically number 9. Sorry, Ryan Flood. But last year the guys who played at 9,
Poor
excluding Ryan.
But that was also the 3rd 3-3 draw in Rising history where Rising scored its first 2 penalties of the season in that match. Yeah.
How did you pull that? That's insane.
I remember thinking about that last year. It was
That's crazy.
I think San Antonio 2019 and Monterey Bay 2022.
So that's their first 3-3 draw of the season in which they're scoring
2 penalties. First two penalties.
First 2
of the season. Yeah.
That's
so
absurd.
he's correct. He's happened twice.
That's absurd.
3 times.
3 times, sorry. What was the San Antonio years ago. Yeah,
that's absurd.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I remember all of those games.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, well,
insanity.
Let's break down from an FC Tulsa perspective a bit, right? I believe we have a little graphic as well.
So Rees, you picked the key players here, by the way.
Please.
Before we get into that, obviously, Spencer is the manager. Is
promotion for
is a
him.
new manager over there. Right, talk about these players, please, Rees.
Edwin Lazo is midfielder. He's their number 6. He was there last year. He's just big for just anything defensively. Was like in the top 10th percent in most defensive analytics, like defensive just tackles, duels, anything like that. He was in the top 10%. The other player there, or the goalkeeper, was Johan Peñaranda, who joined the club mid-season last year and then went on a 22-game stretch where he just dominated the league, was very, very good. And then the other player there that I have is their new striker, Taylor Calhera. They signed him from NYCFC 2. He scored 14 goals in 24 games. I'm very intrigued to see how he makes that jump because he's probably going to be that starting 9. They brought in Stefan Lukic from Chattanooga Red Wolves too, but I think this guy, Calhera, is going to be their 9 on opening night. He looks very interesting. He's 23 competing in Next Pro where he had good numbers. So again, you kind of have to take that with that grain of salt that he is an older player playing in Next Pro, but I do think he has the quality to make the jump up to USL.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting group. I mean, Peñaranda got a vote from me on the end of season awards last year.
Yeah, he had the 3rd best save percentage in the league for like
really
anyone
good.
that actually played.
His expected
good
goals
amount.
prevented was really good, right? He was a good acquisition for a pretty mediocre team last year. I mean, I'm intrigued what Luke Spencer's going to do differently here. Just kind of the change to in that position, being promoted from an assistant to head coach here. It's interesting, right? Because there's been so much turnover in head coaches in USL Championship, in the Western Conference especially, that remember, there's not a single coach left who coached a game in 2023 with their same side as the head coach. There's no one left from the end of that 2023 season anymore. So it's just intriguing. I mean, you never know. They can try different things out. I really think this will be an interesting game in terms of a barometer for where Rising are. I think that Tulsa are probably a team that I think on the players they've got going to miss the playoffs again. And so for Phoenix Rising, if you want to say you've changed, you want to say you are much better, you have to come out and dominate this game. And I don't mean dominate in a way we saw this team dominate sometimes last season, even though I don't think they are that kind of team that will play in the same way in that sense. I expect this team to come out here, and if they don't win by multiple goals, it needs to be because Peñaranda stood on his head.
And I think that's a likely possibility.
And that's possible. Right, if you turn around and say any other goalkeeper you scored 4 in that game, I don't care if it's only 1-0. Yeah. But I don't think that eking a 1-0 winner otherwise is necessarily indicative of a good result and a good turnaround.
Right. Well, and now I'm trying to think, this is Rising is seeking their first win in a home opener at Phoenix Rising Stadium. They
38th and lost.
They lose or draw against San Diego Loyal
2-2.
That's right, in the mud.
Yeah.
And then they are in the dirt, and they lost to Birmingham Legion in the home opener.
Mm-hmm. That ugly
1-0.
JP
1-0.
Skeerstone goal. Yeah, just the worst
that was
deflection.
disgusting.
Yeah.
So listen, we'll see. We're hoping they get a better start than in years past. Okay,
Can we shout out the new captain, by the way? We haven't actually done that, I think.
But
yet.
of course.
Pape Mar Boye.
But of course.
We did actually hear a bit from
Pape
Mar Boye on the captaincy. Let's have a listen to that. It's from today.
I feel good about being the captain on this team because like this year is more like demanding. It's new coach, new players on this team. So I mean, I feel great. I mean, for me, that's an ownership to be one of part of like this leader and this group. So I just feel happy about this, being a captain on this team.
Do you think it's a reflection of the work you've put in this preseason, or did he tell you at all if it carried over into some of your actions towards the tail end of last season and starting to grow into leadership last year as well?
Yeah, I was gonna say yes, but for me, it's always like that. I mean, I always work hard and talking to some guys on the team, so I'm always be like helpful and like always be good on with my other teammates. So, I mean, yeah, that's it.
How do we feel about Pape as a captain?
I love it. I mean, if you're, I think often, right, people look for captains. I think the very clear thing that you've kind of seen a lot in, in soccer and sports is two things, right? It's either people who have been on the team for a long period of time or people who have been within the league for a long period of time. I mean, right, this club, you have a couple people who maybe fit those bills a little bit better, but purely from a guy how he carried himself, how he grew into the team so quickly last season, and also just the sheer turnover in a lot of other people who maybe could have been in the mix. To me, I mean, even when we did this, exercise after the season ended, even after Pa-Modou Kah was appointed, I mean, right, I was even saying, I think Pape Mar Boye could very logically be a great piece for captain, and I mean, it suits him well. Well.
I mean, we all saw the leap that he took last season as a defender from that first match where he was showing like his athletic ability, but it just felt raw defensively before. Then it just grew each and every single match. And we'll get into our predictions later, but I'm very high on him for this upcoming season. And it's just the next natural step, I think.
All right. So just looking at everything here, and I think, yeah, it's an obvious step up for him. I think he deserves it. But as we look to this game, I kind of want to say, obviously, I said earlier about you want to see this team come out and win. What do we want to see from this team, though? Individual things we want to take out from this Tulsa game?
It depends what the lineup looks like.
By the way, on that note, just to say earlier today that Pa said that he expected the whole team to be available for selection. Because whether they will be or not, we'll see. But
yeah, if everyone's available, that makes a lot of lineup questions in my head because we haven't seen really the whole team be available. Last weekend at the Red Black friendly, Carl Saint, is that how it said? Saint Sante?
No one quite knows.
Yeah, because I saw the pronunciation guide was very different than what we've been saying. But he wasn't available. Charlie Dennis wasn't available. And I think those two are key cogs to how this system is going to look for Pa.
Yeah.
Carl more as that 6 dropping down in the back line when Rising are in possession, and for Charlie Dennis be as that right winger in moving in. If those two aren't available, there's a lot of questions on who plays in those spots. I mean, we saw JP Skeersh play as a 6 at times. Right wing, would it be Jearl? Would it be who else is available there? I mean, Sacco can play there. There's a lot of different guys that can move into these holes, and I'm interested to see what that first 11 looks like, if everyone or if there are holes.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the biggest thing that I want to see, and it's definitely not going to happen within the first game. It might even take a few. I really want to see this style being implemented. I want to be able to leave, this season opener with some semblance of knowing we've seen how Rising have played, within, the videos, within some preseason capacity. You hear about how they're going to play, this handful of players that they do have from seeing them last year. what is it all going to look like? I think the more this team can carve out an identity, and whether you agree with it or not, whether it is fruitful or not within the first game, at least being able to say, we know what they're going to look like moving forward to some degree. That is something that I think we haven't seen as much off the bat in years past. I think this club, given the direction, it's very possible, especially knowing there's a lot of intent and intensity. But I think that's what I want to see, right? I want to win, and I want to see intention behind it.
Yeah. No, I'd agree. I think I'm intrigued to see how the midfield comes together in particular. It's going to be a mix of the personnel, as Rees was saying, but also just how they play with each other. We've seen Rising's midfield kind of at times got so stagnant last year, and to see how that changes now, how the composition of it looks, different styles of players in the midfield, how they're going to play off each other, how they're going to involve those players in the wide areas, how they're going to take it from the defensive line. Is that something that you're looking to work through the midfield? Maybe you don't work through the middle of the park as much. Maybe you do just stick to the wider areas. Maybe they play a little bit more vertically. Obviously, you're going to want a degree of verticality, but how much? It's kind of that scale, right? Where do they sit on the scale of verticality? Those are the kind of things I think we're going to get a little bit more out of. We saw some long balls in that and the intra-squad friendly at times. Felt a bit pointless at times when they were doing those, because it was very much like, what are we doing this for? Why don't we try and play that a bit more in a friendly against each other as well? But I mean, it's something that'll be interesting to see quite where the scale settles at once games start being competitive. I'll be intrigued to see Saka play more in real games and understand better how he kind of is translating over from the Swiss Challenge League to USL Championship. That's always an interesting adjustment when you get these leagues that you don't necessarily see a lot of movement between USL and, because really helps you. You don't know before they start playing quite how they compare up as well as maybe you should. Because it's never as simple as how good is the league. There are also those elements like how much time do you get on the ball in this league? Typically, how physical the players, quality of the stadiums. The biggest one always is the travel, to be honest. I think a lot of players don't kind of underestimate just how much travel's involved sometimes in this league, and how many time zones you're crossing when you're going from one end of the country to the other. But I do think that those are the kind of things that, to me, obviously you're not going to get all of it in the first game, but you're going to start to be able to piece some of those puzzle pieces together a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay. What else? Anything else? Anything anecdotally from this game? Anything looking ahead?
I mean, I'm just excited to see how some of the newer guys look, especially Noble Akella. I've been really high on him since seeing him in that St. Louis match. I think he's going to be key to how this team moves the ball forward. So I'm excited to see him and some of the other North Texas guys, because this is, or I guess Okella's not one, but North Texas Rising.
Okay.
Big North Texas guys.
Anything else from you, Will?
So is Rising.
I think it's time for Mr. Simpson to give me a score prediction.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to ask that next.
Mr. Simpson, what's
First
the
one
score
of the
going to
season,
be?
Max.
Oh, man. This is big.
Pressure.
This sets the tone.
Pressure.
This sets the tone all around. Give me...
If he predicts a loss and they lose, it's Max's fault. If he predicts a win and they lose, it's Max's fault for jinxing it.
If he predicts a win and they win,
if he predicts a draw and the result is negative, it's your fault.
So I just want to make sure I'm hearing correctly. It's my fault either way.
If you predict a win
anything
and
bad
they win,
happens, is you.
It's just that's how it was supposed to be. Like nothing to do with your prediction.
I appreciate your honesty. I'm gonna go with 1-0 Phoenix Rising.
Who's going to score?
No, I will say
who's going to score?
Hold on.
You got to pick your player.
I do think this is going to be
penalty or no penalty.
No penalty. I think
right foot, left foot.
Hold on. I think it's going to be a very...
Which square of the field are we putting it in?
My word. It's going to be a very fluid attacking game. I think that 1-0 often can be a very misleading scoreline, right? Oh, boring 1-0. I think this can be very attacking, very fluid, very end-to-end stuff. It's going to only result in one goal. I don't know who's going to score it. Give me an own goal.
Ooh.
Pick the Tulsa defender that knocks it.
He doesn't know this squad that well, and that's perfectly fair.
Go to FCTulsa.com.
How do you feel, Rees?
I do think Rising could be shut down, but not because of Tulsa defense, but just because of how good Peñaranda could be. But I do think Rising win. It should be I'll go 2-0 because I think they have the defensive quality to shut down the very, on paper, limited Tulsa attack. Yeah. I'm going. Give me a Remy Cabral brace
to
open the year.
Jack, give us your score predictions. By
here's
the way.
what I'm gonna say. We'll take Kyle after me, obviously.
But of course,
you can't leave Kyle out of this one.
Can
7-1.
We won't. Whoa.
I'm not sure.
Right.
7-1. Yeah.
I don't think that's quite going to happen. What's the away team like you did
that.
yesterday? Or no, that would not be a good result. I feel the need to be different to you guys, and here's why I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to go with a 0-0 draw. And you know why? A bit. I think Rising will be obviously on top for most of it.
Agricultural.
But I'll say they get their like 2 or 3 real chances, and Peñaranda just stands on his head.
If I have to watch one more 0-0 draw with this team, I might burst into tears. I mean, did we not get our like a lifetime's worth last season? Jeez.
Hope you like clean sheets, buddy. All right, Kyle, what you got?
Give me 1-0 Rising. I'll also say Remy's going to score.
Wow, 1-0. What a smart.
If anyone's going to score, I think it's Remy.
I think it's Remy.
Personally, yeah.
Watches it's a defender. All right, let's see. We got like BJR 2-1 Rising in the chat. We got Devinall 3-1 Rising. He's got Jearl. He's got Remy. He's not sure for a third.
Max gets substituted on. They bring on the former Golden Boot
I'm
winner.
not trying to brag, but did notch a goal and an assist. First game back of small goal soccer. No big deal.
Were you out with injury?
What's that?
Were you out with injury, or why were you out?
I was on vacation.
Missed the vacation.
Okay.
Yeah. We're allowed to do that in life. Keep those chat. Keep those score predictions coming on in. It'll be interesting. We'll have to see. Well, in the meantime, right, keep on sending those score predictions. We're going to see how Saturday shakes up, right? We do have an event coming up for PHNX. It's PHNX Green Jacket Open Scramble, 2 p.m. shotgun start, April 12th. It's at Dobson Ranch Golf Course. Now, keep in mind, Rising does kick off 7 p.m. You can catch this 2 p.m. shotgun start and still make it in time for the game.
Are you playing
later
Max?
that day? You a big golf guy? I'm not good at golf.
But are you doing the golf?
I'm good at short. I have a mean short game.
But are you gonna do the golf?
I might do a little bit of golf. I might join in.
Do the golf.
I might celebrity
so
shot.
If you want to beat Max, Max because Max is not very good.
I'm not.
You know what you got to be.
I'm very liable to being hustled. It's very easy to do.
I mean, in more ways than one, mate.
Whoa, that's crazy. Yes, but entry fee includes range balls prior to each round, 18 holes with a cart, games throughout the event, raffle and tournament prizes, gifts, little Masters watch
is
party
Max
for those
buying beers?
If you wear a Rising jersey, yeah, maybe I'll buy you a beer.
He's only saying that because that's not really appropriate to do at a golf course. Shame on you. Shame on you,
Nice.
Max.
What about if you have some form
food
of
after the event as well? Yeah.
Nice. You gonna do it, Max?
Shame.
You're definitely buying the beers for people, aren't you?
You're trying to get me to say
This is our boy. He buys beers.
Let's
he
get
buys
back
beers.
to it, Jay.
You're a good guy, Max. You buy beers, right?
You do acknowledge that I bought many in Charleston. Will you?
Yeah, but you're gonna keep buying.
That
them.
was almost a year and a half ago, Max.
Yeah,
I get cachet.
Just like
Forever.
Spurs, he's living off old glories.
I get cachet forever on that one.
No, you don't.
James I can't. James Wilson in the chat. 4-0.
We've had how many head
Rising.
coaches since then?
James Remy with. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
With 3 head coaches later, Max.
I mean, Juan was still technically in charge.
Wow.
Too,
He was.
Remy with
He
a
was
hat
definitely.
trick. And then I'm curious who's scoring the fourth.
Remy
Okay.
looking good right now.
I
Remy's
do
looking
like it.
lean and fit and just
Yeah.
really quite good.
I've been very
like
impressed
it.
by what I've seen from him.
Oh,
this
yeah.
year. He looks
I mean-
good on the ball,
I
too.
mean, listen, we've seen that Remy Cabral, right? He's not the necessarily do everything number 9, right? There's very few.
But he's looking better than he was last year.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He's, right? Very few are that all-around guy, but he's a big-body guy. He has a good shot. And again, he has that striker's instinct, right? He's being able to get into the box, rip it when he needs to. You can't teach and you can't coach those instincts. So if he's able to string together a healthy season, that's good for him. We love that. Leave a like, by the way. Make sure to do
Are you
that,
watching
everyone.
Bobby Hurley basketball,
Oh,
Kyle?
yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, last game of the season.
Hey, they could go on a run. They could go.
I've been
I
saying
mean,
it.
I did see someone
I've been
asking
saying
in the
it.
chat earlier, way back, but asking you, Max, what would you rather?
I did
It's
see
between
it.
Bobby Hurley extension or Ange extension.
Well, no, it said, Anne's to coach another game. I mean, Ange will coach another game. They play tomorrow.
I mean, it's true, but
nope, that's the answer.
No, I'm going to twist it then.
You can't twist it. That's not
you're stuck with one forever. Which are you taking?
What does that mean?
You're stuck with one forever.
Am I stuck with Ange Postacoglu or Bobby Hurley?
Let me go Ange. Absolutely. I'd love to see Ange.
Oh, yeah, because Arteta's doing a lot.
Second place. We're doing great in the Champions League, actually. Just phenomenal. How are you doing in the Champions
looking forward
League?
to
We've already won. How many times I have to tell you, we won a trophy from Champions League.
No, you didn't.
Champions League finalists.
You ready for the Europa League tomorrow, Max?
No, it's going to take lives off me. We're going to...
Oh, it is Thursday tomorrow.
Yeah. Goodness, you gotta love
dance tomorrow as well.
Oh, that's the only thing I think about on Thursdays.
All right.
He doesn't have to think about football on Thursdays because his club's not in the Europa League.
Good watch.
Love it. Europa League is the actually better music. Call it. Anyway,
they change it every 3 years.
Yeah, they do. A little remix. All right, let's. I think Owen, you want to run through an exercise of looking at predictions at large.
So we're making some calls for the upcoming year.
Yeah, we are.
You know what? Who wants to start? Of you two?
Max does.
Max wants to start. We're taking Max's predictions first. So I asked Max to make 3 predictions, and they all had to be Phoenix Rising or USL Championship related in some way, shape, or form.
It's a way. Not yet.
They have to be related to USL or Phoenix Rising. Let's have a look at what Max's 3 predictions were. Number 1, you're saying that Rising's point tally in the first half of the season is going to be bottom half of the West, and that's going to flip in the second.
Yeah. So and just to illustrate this, right? This is not saying they are going to end the season in the top half of the table. What I'm saying is this squad is very young. The squad is very inexperienced. And I think this is going to take a while to get going, right? I think there's going to be a lot of intensity. Even the first couple of matches might end up being very well. But I think when you cut the season in half and you look at the first half of this season, purely from a points tally, I think they're going to be in the bottom half of the West. As this season goes on, I think that there is a lot of youth, even in some guys, as you're kind of seeing any moves further or what that even looks like, even guys coming into their own from a fitness standpoint and from just being able to honestly just have some better energy than maybe some other clubs. When you dissect the second half of the season at a standstill, the second half of the season, they're going to be in the top half of the West. Overall, what that looks like, I'm not going to tell you because I don't know at the top of my head, but that's what I'm thinking. A slow first half.
So they're probably going to finish like mid-table somewhere, probably.
More or less. I mean, in theory, though, right? Like you could be just outside of the top half in the first half and be first on points in the second half. You could rock it up into a top 4. I'm not sure, but I think it's going to be very much extremes.
All right, give me number 2. Give me number 2, please, man.
Number 2, Pa-Modou Kah will not name the same starting 11 in consecutive matches throughout the first half of the year. This one's might be bold, and honestly, listen, I could be wrong by second game on this one, right? I mean, I think there's again, kind of going off the first point, there's a lot of different guys in there. It's going to take him a while, I think, to name some consistency. And here's the thing, for that to come true, you just need one guy to be changing in and out, right? I mean, I see Rees even already pulling up the lineup changes from last season. Now, granted, last season is last season. There's a lot different from there, but I think he will settle on, maybe solid 8-9 guys that he very much likes in there, very solid, providing fitness, injury, all that stuff. I just think it's going to be, you're not going to see a consecutive starting 11 for a while, in my opinion.
Danny Stone did it twice in his tenure.
That's crazy.
He did it from the March 23rd Oakland game to the March 30th New Mexico game, and then the April 26th Rhode Island game to the May 4th Sac game. That's the only 2 times he kept the same line.
That's kind of nuts. Well, and thank you. And then Kyle, if you can actually pull up the graphic one more time. Number 3, Reese's stomach will at some point physically reject a concessions item at Phoenix Rising Stadium.
I hope not.
I mean, it did last year, didn't it?
Well, this year they
it was delayed, like a delayed evacuation.
This year it seems mid. Last year it was bad. I'd take mid over bad every day of the week.
I said it will reject. I hope it doesn't eject from you.
No, Max.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what happens if the stomach rejects.
Yeah. I guess it kind of does. Kind of goes hand in hand.
Pulls the emergency release, I mean.
Just hopefully not with the porta potties. Oh, God.
That's an image right there, Rees.
Nope, no need to visualize
don't picture it.
Can you visualize it, Kyle?
Stop visualizing. This is bad.
People at home are visualizing.
This is bad. No one is.
15-degree game.
Leave a like.
And it's just that. No.
It's bad programming.
That's
all right,
awful.
Owen, what do you have for predictions?
My predictions. Let's go. I'm going to start with Remy Cabral, and I think that he's been good enough this preseason. I'm convinced. I'm convinced that Remy Cabral is here to best what he did last year. 7 goals last year. He's going to get at least 12 this year. He's going to practically double.
I wanted to predict that.
At least. I know a lot of people did, but I said it first. I did say it out loud first.
You did.
I think Remy Cabral's, again, just looking on good form. I mean, he's matched his goal tally from last year in 2 friendlies. I know one was against Phoenix College, but I think that he is very much capable of putting up a high tally this year. Yeah, we all agree?
No, I agree.
All right,
double digits or bust.
All right.
Double digits bust.
Give me number 2. Number 2, Lexington. A lot of people are quite high on Lexington. I think they will be a playoff team. But they're going to be one of the last bubble teams to get in. Yeah. They're going to be right down around the bottom, I think, of the playoff line. You know why? I think a lot of people are looking at the squad they've created and say they're good. And we've seen these, expansion teams start off quite well in the past. And I agree. I get that. But I think people are underestimating the fact that not only are they going to have the expansion impact, which will mean they're probably not going to host, but they're also going to... They've got a terrible travel schedule. Right, they have to fly presumably out of this diddly little regional airport. They're in the Western Conference. They are multiple time zones away. That travel's not going to be fun. It's not going to be easy, and it's going to take it out on them over the course of the season. So while I do think they have enough talent in that squad, you look at some of the acquisition they brought in. Rees, give me some of those acquisitions.
Marcus Epps is in there.
Yeah, I know.
Lucas Stauffer.
Yeah.
They still Logan Ketterer.
All right players. There are some all right players in there, and I think they have enough players to be of quality to be a playoff team if it all comes together.
Speedy
but
Williams
I don't think
too.
It's going to be Speedy Williams, probably one of the better announcements in there. I don't feel as though it's going to come together early enough and consistently enough because of those factors, because of the expansion factor for the start, the travel factor throughout the season, for them to be higher up the table. I can see them being like a 7 or an 8.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I do think it'll take long to click.
I don't remember what we predicted them in last week, but we'll ignore that right now.
Yeah, because that was our vibes. The vibes were good for Lexington, but
now this is cold, hard facts at this point. And number 3 for my 3rd prediction here. The Eastern Conference is stronger, and I think that will prove out in a lot of the Eastern Conference against Western Conference games. But the West is going to host and win the playoff final.
Now, let me dissect this a little bit. Eastern Conference. So you're saying head-to-head this season, Eastern Conference is stronger than the West. Do you also believe the Eastern Conference is stronger this season than it was last year?
At the top of the table, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I mean, so there's even more disparity. Top and bottom. Okay.
I don't know. I feel like the bottom has improved a little bit as well. I just feel like
so the entire rising tides.
I think that you could look at the top 3 or 4 teams in the East, and they're probably better than almost anyone you could name in the West.
We were saying that last year. I mean,
okay. I genuinely believe
you're gonna put the last season, right? You're putting the East number 1. Granted, they kind of crashed.
You have to bear in mind, Birmingham Legion missed the playoffs last year, and they are better than pretty much anyone in the West.
Number 1, Louisville City, and the West number 1, New Mexico United. That's
I think the East will just pulverize itself once it comes to the playoffs.
Yeah, probably.
And there'll be quite a few upsets.
Yeah,
I think that'll be the case. I also think they'll pulverize themselves each other a bit and cannibalize each other in the standings during the course of the the regular season, which also doesn't help you with seeding when it comes to actually hosting the final. So that's it. I've got the West to host and win the final.
Sweet.
Reese predictions. Reese gave me short and sweet, so I've extended them out so they actually fill the text boxes on here.
Really? Oh. I got Pape Mar Boye as a USL Championship All-League first-team member. I think he just continues to take a leap. I don't think he'll be back next season just because of how good he's going to be this season, which is kind of the expectations. I think a lot of people were already shocked that he's back this year. And I just, as a captain, I just think he continues to grow and grow. It will look a little bit different in the back 4, but still, I think a player of his quality will find this switch fairly easy. My second prediction is I have a USL League One team winning the Jägermeister Cup.
Nice. Jägermeister Cup. The Jägermeister Cup that Phoenix Rising will be competing in for the first time.
That's awesome. You know who won the Jägermeister Cup last year? The now dead Northern Colorado Hailstorm.
As you can see there. Shout out Lalo Delgado.
Oh, he's at Naples now. Maybe Naples wins it. But I just
maybe Lalo is the key for the Jägermeister Cup.
The Jägermeister Cup.
The Jägermeister Cup.
I do think USL Championship.
Wait, did you catch what tournament that's called there, Kyle?
What was that again?
The Jägermeister Cup.
Nice. Jägermeister Cup.
Jägermeister Cup.
Okay.
Not just any cup.
The Jägermeister Cup. Nice. I don't think USL Championship sides will take it as seriously as League One teams do. I saw a stat today on the USL website that League One sides are 12-20, I think, against Championship sides in Open Cup, and I think this one will be a bit more of a proving ground. So there'll be a bit that hunger for these League One sides will grow. And then my last prediction is a Louisville double, so Player Shield and then winning the playoff. I think that
San Antonio did that one.
And I think this team just got better and better. I mean, adding Kev Lambert. I know they lost Elijah Winder. I know they lost Wilson Harris. But I think they added Zach Duncan to their midfield. They've really just continued to grow. And I think if there's a team that could do it, it would be them. I know that I just said the East is going to be difficult and pulverized on itself. But I also think that Louisville, it just feels like it's finally going to be their year that it clicks in the playoffs.
Yeah. All right, I want one more prediction from you. It's not really related to this weekend, but it is related to this upcoming season. How far are Rising going to go? You've mentioned the Jägermeister Cup, but in the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup. Bear in mind, they enter in the third round. The fourth round is the round of 32.
Okay.
And Rising will be away in the third round, and they will, if they get through to the fourth round, will play an MLS team, either home or away.
Round of 16. Give it to me.
You've got them winning 2 rounds, including beating an MLS team.
I don't. Not as like a stray to this year's squad, but I think they're just the Open Cup kind of comes at the wrong time where they're still going to be figuring out its identity. I think a third round exit would be the most likely. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case.
Eventually they draw though to an extent.
True. True. But I think a third round exit's more likely than getting them to the round of 16.
Yeah. Yeah, I tend to agree.
I can see it. I can see that.
Cool.
All right, I think we're mostly there right now, aren't we?
Yeah. Guys, want to see some photos from my
Max
vacation?
has been on
vacation. See the animals? Show them the animals, Kyle.
His 5-week vacation.
Just showing us animal pics.
So I was in Africa. By the way, everyone is asking, like, oh, where was I? People, like, you guys did not dissuade the rumors.
Max,
did you even
where in Africa were you? Tell me where you were. Africa's a very big continent.
It did. So I went on safari. So I was in Kenya, Tanzania, and in Zanzibar. So we went to...
Is Zanzibar in Tanzania?
Zanzibar, Zanzibar is its own kind of, is an island, but it is part of Tanzania.
Okay.
It's like part of Tanzania, so it's like part of the country, but also they are their own thing. It's a very interesting kind of entity. So
they're a semi-autonomous region. I haven't done my research on this, so they may actually want independence.
We saw all the different animals. We saw
Did you take
elephants.
this with your camera?
I brought my nice camera that I brought to Phoenix Rising games. So boom, you got elephants, you got birds, got a zebra in there, and there's like so many more. I'm kind of just stuck the highlights in there. I think that's my favorite one from the entire trip. A little lion action.
Did you have fun? That's the most important thing.
I had a blast.
Did Sam have fun?
She had a blast.
That's good.
It was great. Little giraffe, little lion hanging in the tree.
Oh, wow.
Pretty cool. That's a wildebeest with like 7 different birds on its back. Yeah, pretty crazy. Just a beautiful place out there. And that's everything. So here's the one thing.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, hang on a minute. You got shrimp pizza.
No, I did not get it.
Oh,
Max ate shrimp pizza.
No pizza. Max ate pizza.
Max ate shrimp pizza.
So hold on.
Someone get David in here right now.
Hold on. Listen.
Damon.
I did not get the shrimp pizza
Simpson.
at one of the places where we were at.
Max is showing us pictures of shrimp pizza that he found.
It was a buffet where we were staying, and what do I see on there? I see tomato and shrimp pizza, and it haunted me. I was being haunted by this stupid nonsensical rumor from halfway around the world.
The last show you were here for was our pizza.
Did I draft pizza? Did I draft shrimp? No, I did not. I did not draft shrimp pizza. I did not draft shrimp pizza.
Because you went to go find it before.
I did not have any of it. I did not have any of it.
On a redraft, are you drafting shrimp pizza?
No!
Max, there's no way you didn't order this pizza.
It was a buffet. It was a buffet.
Yeah, and you said, hey, would you mind throwing some shrimp on those bad boys?
No, it was already pre-made.
No way.
Look at the other slide.
That's not a thing
Look at the
people
other
do.
slide that it already is pre-made.
No one's that sick in the
This
head,
is tomato
Max.
and shrimp.
Max eats shrimp pizza.
So
We've
let me get
established.
No. This proves my point. This proves my point. Number one, I did not eat the shrimp pizza, and number two, if I did, which I did not, there are cultures who do eat it. So stay out of it.
Wait, Max, if Phoenix Rising has shrimp pizza at some event this
Would you
game,
eat it?
are you getting some?
Yeah.
People have already felt bad about some of their concessions, and those are not shrimp. So I will absolutely
Max Simpson
not.
loves shrimp pizza.
Nope. Absolutely
He's a
not.
big shrimp pizza
This
guy.
is really, this is actually a mistake.
Shrimpy Shrimp Simpson.
You missed the Shrimpy Shrimp Simpson. Max Shrimpy Shrimp Simpson. Max Shrimpson, I just heard from Damon. Mr. Shrimpson.
This is backfired.
Sorry,
absolutely.
Mr. Shrimpson.
This is backfired.
I think you might be dealing with a backfire if you tried the shrimp pizza, mate. That about does it here for the
Welcome
PHX
back,
Rising
Max.
podcast this Wednesday.
Oh boy! All right, yeah, we're getting out of here. Don't go on vacation because then you'll come back and everything's worse. Appreciate everyone joining us here on tonight's episode. Of course, jeez, leave a like. Leave a like on your way out of here. You can follow the show at PHNX__rising. I already know what's coming. Double the underscore.
Double the shrimp on pizza.
course.
Double or half the spinach though, as Amanda
You can
Wilson
follow
points
me
out.
on Twitter at Max David Simpson. You can follow Owen on Twitter at OJ18. You can follow Rees on Twitter at Rees11_. You can follow Kyle on Twitter at KCoop Sports. We are going to be at the game on Saturday, of course. Come say hello, everything like that. Again, we will not be doing a full-on post-game show like how we have within Season Pass. However, make sure to follow us again at PHNX__rising on Twitter. Going to do, some different stuff on Twitter, some game updates, very brief post-game review. After that,
demolishing
you broke
the
my
mic over
studio,
there.
okay. But we're going to be doing all that stuff. Of course, if you're a diehard and you're in Discord, make sure to hop in there. We're going to be doing stuff all throughout the game. But again, see you on Saturday in person. Shake my hand, shake his hand, shake his hand.
Buy him a shrimp pizza.
It's a beautiful game, but it's way more beautiful.
Well, Max eats shrimp pizza. Good night.
No, not that.
We all silly like the mayor.